Section 3.4, Solving Linear Equations. This video will help you solve equations where we have variable terms on both sides. So this adds one kind of more step. Now we're going to use 3 steps to solve those types of problems. Then after we get comfortable with that, then we're going to go move on to solving linear equations where we need to simplify things first, then move the variable terms. And these sort of things, these sort of equations, they're kind of as complex as they get, and we're going to need all 4 steps to solve these equations. And again, these are the same steps we listed in the other sections here. You know, we're going to simplify each side of the equation, and then get all the variable terms to one side. Then the last 2 steps, we're really getting comfortable with those by now, undoing addition and subtraction on the variable side, and then finally undoing multiplication and division to finally isolate the variable. So depending on the complexity of the equation, we may need to use 1, 2, 3, or all 4 steps. And so here we're going to focus on equations that are solved using the last 3 steps. These types of equations usually have, as I mentioned before, variable and constant terms on both sides. So notice here's my equation, and I have a variable term on the left side, variable term on the right side, constant terms on the left side, and constant terms on the right side. So those are the type of equations we're going to start solving here, and then we'll move on to some more complex ones. All right, now let's take a look at an example that will help you understand how to solve these problems where we have variable terms on both sides. So again, here we're using these last 3 steps to solve this equation. So let's see, we're solving this 5x plus 2 equals 2x minus 4. And so one thing that makes this easier, it's not necessary, but removing the smaller variable term is going to make it easier, because then we won't have to deal with as many negatives in the problem, and that always makes it easier. So let's see. And that always happens. One time, touch the screen down here, and then it moves. Okay, let's see how we're going to solve this thing. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of or remove the smaller variable term. So I have 5x on one side, 2x on the other side. I want to get rid of that 2x. And the way I'm going to get rid of or remove these variable terms is by using addition or subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2x from each side of the equation. Let's see, on the right side now, all I'll have left is negative 4. On the left side, I'll have 3x plus 2. Now my equation just got a lot simpler. Now I'm going to undo the addition on the variable side. So 3x equals negative 6, and then I'm going to divide by 3. We'll come up here to finish that. Then x is going to be equal to negative 2. So now I'm going to check that. So I'm going to plug negative 2 back in the original equation. So I have 5 times negative 2 plus 2 is equal to 2 times negative 2 minus 4. Left side, 10 times negative 2 is going to give me negative 10. Negative 10 plus 2 is going to give me negative 8. On the right side, 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 4. And then negative 4 plus negative 4 gives me negative 8. So I'd say, okay, that works. All right, go ahead and pause your video player now and answer this practice question. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's get the variable terms to one side. That 3x is smaller, so that's the one I'm going to run and get rid of. And so let's see, 5x minus 7 equals negative 42. Then I'm going to add 7 to each side. Let's see, negative 35. Come up here to finish it. Divide both sides by 5. X equals negative 7. So now we're going to want to go ahead and check that. So I'm plugging negative 7 back into my original equation. So I have 8. Okay, so I've plugged negative 7 back into the equation. Now I'm going to simplify each side. 8 times negative 7 is negative 56. And then negative 56 minus 7 is going to give me negative 60, negative 63. On the right side, 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. And negative 21 plus negative 42 gives me negative 63. Go ahead and pause your video player now again and answer these practice questions. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the smaller variable term here, which is the negative 6x. Now, if you made a mistake and moved that 2x, adding 2x to get rid of that, it's going to be okay. You're just going to have to deal with more negatives. But what I want to do, since negative 6x is smaller than negative 2x, that's the one I want to get rid of. And you can see here that that's going to give me a positive coefficient on my variable term by moving that smaller one. Negative 2x plus 6x is going to give me 4x, which is what I was hoping for, a positive coefficient there. So then let's see, I'd add 4, divide by 4. X is going to equal 4. So the check, I'll plug that 4 back in. Okay, simplifying the left side, negative 24 plus 12. Negative 24 plus 12 is going to give me negative 12 there. On the right side, negative 2 times positive 4 is going to give me negative 8. Negative 8 plus negative 4 is going to give me negative 12. So that worked. Okay, practice question 4. All right, let's move or get rid of the negative 4x by adding 4x. So that'll leave 18 on the left side, 3x plus 27 on the right side. Notice that's a negative 1x plus a positive 4x, so that's going to give me 3x. Then I'd subtract 27 from each side to undo the addition. And let's see, that's going to give me 2, 9, so negative 9. So x there is going to equal negative 9 divided by positive 3. That's going to give me a negative 3 for my answer. Okay, let's take a look now and check this. Okay, left side. Negative 4 times negative 3 is going to give me positive 12. Positive 12 plus 18, that's 20. That's going to give me 30. On the right side, notice this parentheses are really helping us out. Notice I put parentheses when I make that substitution for a variable, and now you can see we have that double negative minus a negative. So this is actually a positive 3 plus 27, so then it's going to give me 30 is equal to 30. So now we're going to move forward and solve linear equations. And now these are going to be more complicated, so we're going to need all 4 of these steps. And so remember that an equation is an expression equal to another expression. So equations are easier to solve when each of these expressions is simplified. And you've had a lot of practice simplifying expressions. For example, let's take a look at this equation right here. We want to simplify both of these sides of the equation before we would go to try to solve the equation. And here's how we simplify right here. We use the distributive property if it occurs, and then we combine any like terms that appear on each side. Now we don't want to go across the equal sign, but on each side we look at them independently and see if we can use the distributive property and combine like terms. So here, in this case, I can do both. So on the left side I would distribute the 3, and that would give me 3x plus 12. Now that's as simplified as that can get. I can't add those together because they're not like terms. On the right side, however, I have these like terms, 9 and 2. Those can get added together. So I'd add the 9 and the 2 together to give me 11. Now my equation, both sides, or both expressions on each side of the equation are simplified. And that's how we always want to start. We always want to start by first getting each of these sides simplified. Then we can go ahead and solve the equation. Okay, let's take a look at an example now that will help you understand how to use all 4 steps to solve this equation. Okay, so I do have some simplifying to do here. I'm going to distribute the 5 on the left. So that's going to give me 5x minus 10. On the right side, I have some like terms to combine there. So that's going to be 2x plus 11. And I could have written the 11 first, but I'm just used in the habit of writing things in descending order, which is probably a good idea. Helps organize the problem. Okay, now I've got each side simplified. Now I could say, all right, are there variable terms on both sides of the equation? Because notice, step 1 is to simplify. Then step 2 is to make sure we get the variables all to one side. So I do have variable terms on both sides. I want to get rid of that smaller one. So I'm going to subtract 2x from each side. All right, then I would add 10. then I would get 3x is equal to 21, and then we'll divide by 3 to get that x equals 7. All right, go ahead and pause your video player now and answer practice question 6. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Okay, question 6. We do have some like terms on the left side. A positive 6 and a negative 4. That's going to leave us with a positive 2, and I wrote the 3y first just to get in descending order. On the right side, I'm going to distribute the 7. So 7y plus 14. Okay, I got variable terms on both sides, so let's get rid of that smaller one. So let's subtract 3y from each side. On the left side, that's gone, leaving us with 2. On the right side, that's going to give us 4y plus 4. Then I would subtract 4 from each side. And then I would divide by 4. Okay? Now this division is not going to work out nice and even, but that's okay. We don't have to get everything to work out to a nice whole number. So let's come over here. Notice on the right side, my 4's are dividing out. So that's leaving me with a y on the right side. On the left side, I'm left with this fraction, negative 2/4. That's good, but we can simplify that fraction. So I want to make sure the fraction stays negative. Then I would look at 2/4 and say, oh, there's a common factor of 2 I could divide out of the top and the bottom. So that would simplify down to negative 1/2. All right, go ahead and pause your video players again now and answer these practice questions 7 and 8. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Okay, practice question 7. On the left side of the expression here, I have like terms to combine. A 7x and a negative 2x will give me, or sorry, 9x and a negative 2x will give me 7x. The right side, I can't simplify that anymore, so that's just going to stay as it is. Now I'm looking to get rid of my smaller variable term, which is the 5x. So let's see, 2x minus 4 is equal to negative 12. Now let's undo the subtraction on the variable side, so I would add 4. Let's see, 2x then. Negative 12 plus 4 is going to give me negative 8. X is equal to negative 4. Okay, question 8. Lots to simplify on the left side here. First, I would start by distributing the 6 and writing everything else down. Now, it's real important to write down each of these steps because there's too much information to try to keep track of in your head at this point. All right, like terms, 6x and 3x, those are on the same side of the equal sign, so I can just add those together. So that's 9x. Now, also, look here, we have some constant terms. A negative 18 and a negative 4, that's going to give me negative 22. All right, I've got that left side simplified and the right side simplified. Now I would check to see if I have variable terms on both sides. I don't. So what I'm trying to do now is just look to isolate this x. So I would undo this subtraction of 22 by adding it. So 9x then, negative 4 and a positive 22 is going to give me 18. And I'll get that x equals 2.